Welcome to ISE 2022 in beautiful Barcelona. This is Rich Fregosa for AVNation.tv. I'm sitting here with, I gotta say I'm a little bit of a fanboy on this one. I won't apologize. Jeff Hastings is the CEO of Brightsign. And obviously Brightsign is a name known in the AV community and digital signage, most especially, but you have a little bit of a different background. I like to call it, when we were talking earlier, you were IPTV before IPTV happened. In a lot of respects, with a little known thing called the DVR.
Exactly.
Many years ago. So let's talk about digital signage. But, again, you've been in the industry for a while, in the technology sector. Tell us a little bit about how I feel that the DNA of Brightsign started with some earlier things that you've done.
Yeah, so my whole career I've worked on video, and I've worked on all kinds of video. I started out actually building medical imaging machines, which is video. At the end of the day, it's making videos, except it happens to be using ultrasound to generate the image. And then moved from that into building the first DVR. So with Anthony Wood at Replay TV, we built and shipped the first DVR ever in the world. And people think, oh, DVRs? Yeah, we shipped the very first one.
With a very cool feature called commercial
advance, yeah. So the ability to skip commercials when you record TV. So a lot of things, literally going back to my medical imaging days about building reliability, and then moving into the television space about really managing lots of video. And then went on to do some other kind of digital media things in the audio space with M Audio, and then more back into video at Avid with doing Pinnacle. And then actually connected back up with Anthony Wood, who had started Roku. And the original Roku business grew into two businesses. It grew into a commercial business, and of course the consumer business that everyone knows about. So as he was raising money for that, the investors were like, oh, we want to invest in consumer, and that's of course his real focus was consumer. So we basically developed a plan to split the company into two companies. Anthony took obviously the Roku one, and I took this little fledgling commercial business that
there
was literally 5 people. So we split out of Roku at 5 people. And Anthony was like, you got to figure it out. I don't know. It seems like there's something there. So basically, I put together the business plan of what we execute at Brightsign today, which was, number one, at that time, everything in digital signage was a PC.
Right.
Everything. And it's like, wow, super expensive. And I'm like, there's a better way to use this core technology to bring out a lower cost product, a higher reliable product, and something that's easier to use, right? And these PCs, I'd look how much work they would go into start trying to deploy a PC, and then fighting the consumer operating system all the time. In fact, they still do that today, which is kind of funny, but here we are 13 years later. But we would set out that mission to do that, and basically to look at every kind of industry out there, not trying to build a player for this or that industry, build it for all industries. And that's when we started out with one product, and we grew the product lines. Now we have 4 different product lines, kind of for different level, price levels mostly, but really focused on this digital signage, or almost digital experience, because you think of digital signage, that's like a simple video or something. The experiences that now people want to create. So and that's why we keep bringing out higher performance units every year, just because people want to do more things with it. It's not like, oh, just playing video, whereas, on the consumer side, it's all about streaming video.
Right.
But in digital signage, it's hardly anything of just playing big video. It's interaction, building sensors into it and having graphics overlays and data feeds. So it's much more about an experience, and that's what we focus on.
Well, you brought a great little, like when we were talking before I started recording, you brought this great tidbit out. And, I've been talking with manufacturers, mostly exhibitors, about, there's a slight little virus that kind of caused the world to turn on its ear for a little bit. And there was a pause, and you brought up some really interesting facts about how it affected your side of the industry.
Yeah, so, when it started, it was sheer panic, like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? But what happened, it was one of the most fortuitous things in the history of our company, in that we do a lot of retail applications, and most people think the pandemic that retail was closed down. There was a bunch of retail that was closed down, but there were some retailers that made massive gains and massive stock price gains because of so many more customers. You know, the big box retailers like the Walmarts of the world, the Targets of the world, the Best Buys, Best Buy was overwhelmed because everyone wants stuff for their home, right? Their home office. So what that benefited us, since we're in with a lot of those retailers and they use our technology, they started spending a massive amount of money to upgrade their store infrastructure to create a better experience. You know, I talked about experience, creating a better experience for all these new shoppers that came in. So, you know, for us, it was very good. I mean, it was like, oh, a little pause, and then it was like, boom.
Wow.
So yeah, so it was actually, you know, the pandemic was actually been very good for us overall as a company.
Well, it's great, and obviously we're all back together again, which has been great. So what have your impressions been of the show, obviously? I mean, it's been a while since we've been here.
Exactly. So, the last ISE was up in Amsterdam. A great show, of course, cold. But, you know, here it's warm. The traffic is down. It's still a good show. I mean, my expectations were fairly low. I'm like, I don't really know what's going to be here. But it's actually been good. It's not great. I mean, the traffic is still down. I haven't heard the numbers, but traffic is definitely down from Amsterdam. But it's a good show. We've been busy. You know, we're 2 days in. Both days have been busy almost all day in our booth. So
yeah, the big thing we were hearing was just the energy, just kind of the engagement of people when they were walking in. There was that feeling of that people are just happy to be back.
Well, I think people are excited to be out of their house. I'm like, yes, and being in, you know, whether it's a real lockdown or a virtual lockdown.
Right.
I mean, we've been all hunkered down, not seeing people, and you know what? People like to see people. Like we're not built to like be in little rooms.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, with screens between us. Well, you've got products on the floor.
Yep.
We know that people are going to be able to make it to the show floor, walk through the entire suite of products that you have there.
We're in Hall 6.
Fantastic. But let's just say people can't be in sunny Barcelona with us. How would they find you otherwise?
They go to our website. The easiest way, if you just type in Brightsign into Google, it'll bring our website up. But if you want to go to our website, it's www.brightsign.biz as in zebra, biz. Fantastic. So that's the place. We got all of our products on there. Got lots of case studies and lots of information on there.
Well, I got to say, Jeff, thanks for being on. I think, you know, hopefully there was a little bit of some information that maybe is insider knowledge.
Yes, exactly. Kind of nice, exactly. Craziness that we're halfway around the world and come from the Bay Area.
To be able to great. Well, again, obviously, Brightsign is really well known, but it was great to see, like I said, the DNA of what has now become Brightsign.
Yeah.
So it was exciting for me. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Well,
obviously, if you want to find out more about Brightsign, you can go to the website. If you do want to find out more information about our other exhibitors here at ISE in Barcelona, you can go to the AVNation website. You can find it on our Twitter feed and all of our other social media verticals. But unfortunately, I almost want to stretch it on further, but this is all the time I have, with Jeff. So for AVNation.tv, this is Rich Fregosa.